we're back with another episode of the Lakers Fast Break podcast. And happy 4th of July, everyone. Hope it's going to be a good one, a safe one, and an enjoyable one for you. It's Gerald Glassford coming from the Pop Culture Cosmos and, of course, the Lakers Fast Break, the Pop Culture Cosmos, where we cover the latest news and trends in pop culture twice a week, every week, wherever you get your podcast, plus also as well Game Source and Inside Sports Fantasy Football, plus also as well LakersBall.com. Go ahead and check out Mr. Nike Swoosh there, Ox1947, aka Joe Soro, at LakersBall.com, talking about the Lakers. You know he is all the time. Plus, also as well, he owns a company. It's called Simblades. Simblades with a Y.com. If you want your lawn transformed into something much more magical than it is today, go ahead and check us out right there for you at Simblades. Simblades with a Y.com. Our good friends Laker Tom and Jamie Sweet. Hopefully they're cooking near the barbecue and having a great time. Go ahead and check out what they have to say on the Lakers' new additions right there for you at Lakerholics.com. Our good friend John McCallion, you know he's be doing some chatting anytime soon. He'll be doing it on his YouTube channel, John McCallion, so go ahead and, of course, subscribe today right there for the John McCallion channel. Stone Hansen, he is there at his, studio for probably a couple days longer before he heads out here to Vegas for Summer League. So go ahead and hear his thoughts on these rookies and what they're doing right there for you at the Upside Swings NBA Draft Podcast. And if you could support, like, follow, share, do whatever you can, plus subscribe today so you get the latest notifications on when we go live on the air with the latest Lakers Fast Break. And also give us that 5-star review wherever you get your podcasts. It is sincerely appreciate it. Don't let that idiot Mavs fan back in, knucklehead Ronnie. I know it's just, again, I asked him twice. I asked him another time. Please be respectful in the chat. It's great if other fans from other NBA teams decide to come into our best Lakers chat room that's out there, the Lakers Fast Break. And, you could go ahead and respectfully argue for your team, but don't do it. Don't go overboard on it. And unfortunately, he did. So out he goes indeed. But it is the Lakers Fast Break. It is Gerald Glassford along with Joe Soro. Truly great to have you here. We're going to be talking some good things about the Los Angeles Lakers. You guys wanted a 4th of July edition of the Lakers Fast Break. And here today to go ahead and talk about the Los Angeles Lakers. And are there still fireworks yet to come? Good man indeed. You got to go ahead and check out what he's doing today at Ox1947 at LakersBall.com, plus his company, Simblades with a Y.com. It is Joe Soro. And Joe, great to have you here. Wishing you and the family a safe and happy 4th of July. Wanted to ask you, right, my friend, first off, when it comes to the Los Angeles Lakers, there's still talked about as far as having a really, really good offseason. I've actually looked at it a little bit further, broke it down by individual. I thought it was a good offseason. I'm not giving, I think I gave it an A. I'm going to put it right around A- right now. Let's find out because they haven't actually finished off free agency. I think there's still one more move to go, but let's say there's even more to come. Are there more fireworks to come for the Los Angeles Lakers?
Maybe a popper. I don't think any M80s are coming. And I didn't think there was going to be any M80s this offseason anyways. There could be at the trade deadline, which Rob positioned the Lakers not only depth-wise, continuity-wise, but he also kept things flexible enough in case something comes up. And we had discussed how the only way the Lakers were going to go, we're going to try to hit a home run is if the pitcher, I'm using some analogies here, the pitcher pretty much threw an 80-mile-an-hour fastball at them, something that they knew they could take out the park. But I didn't expect it. I just didn't. I think the Lakers learned their lesson on going big and striking out before. They played very well with this particular team, minus a few players. Everybody got their shot, and there were guys that came through. They signed. The ones that didn't come through were let go. It was a very systematic, very conservative offseason, and sometimes going crazy is not the smart move. What this team will have is they will have some experience playing with each other for those who did what they were supposed to do. And they're going to now have more time to prepare to see if they can be better than they were late in the season last year. And I believe they were. It's just a matter of the fact that we didn't have the two stars play, I think, up to their capabilities due to the stress of last season. Every game was important after the All-Star game. I mean, every game was important. When you have that kind of stress, especially when you're LeBron James, who's been playing for 20 years, it's not really conducive to.
It beats you down.
It does, and you also ran into a team that was good from beginning to end. They had a destiny. They fulfilled the destiny. They just did, and you put those two things together, and you got what you got. So with that, we are hoping for at least a serviceable center. That's all that's left. Whether it's someone like Christian Wood or Bismack Biyombo, I'll take either one at this point because either one's going to be better than nothing. And I think the longer this takes, the more likely one of those guys will likely be, or someone of their ilk will be a Laker because they're not going after anything else. They don't really need anything else. As far as Summer League, if we're going to talk immediate response,
well, let me ask you this: you said they don't need anything else. You think that, okay, as far as the backcourt, you think that's solidified? You still have some issues because, again, as I said before, I know I've said repeatedly that Max Christie, we have to see and get a look at him, get a long look, because again, his contract is up. Again, because the foresight of Rob Pelinka not putting him to a 4-year or a 3-year contract. It's only a 2-year on him. You really think we're solidified there? I mean, Max Christie has to hit for us as a backup and reserve coming off the bench behind Austin Reeves.
Yeah, well, you have Austin Reeves who can also play ball handler, which essentially is like a guard. So you have Gabe Vincent, you have D'Angelo Russell, you have possible young guys that could go up a step here from last year, and then you have someone like LeBron James and Austin Reeves who can also initiate the offense. This is a positionless league now, so it doesn't really necessarily matter if you're. We need shot makers, actually. If anything, we need these guys to make shots. So if Vando is doing his 1,000 shots during the off season, from the corner especially, because you'll get those things all day, and if you got Gabe Vincent who can at least bring you some good defense and some good energy, that's really why they brought him in. And then of course D'Angelo Russell. All we need from D'Angelo Russell is to play well during the regular season and then play well in spots in the playoffs, and not play terribly. But for right now, play well during the regular season. That'll take less damage on the LeBron and the AD, and then see how the other guys kind of develop and work together. We've talked about the improvement of Austin Reeves. The only thing he can really improve on is his point per game numbers. If he goes up another, let's say 3 or 4 points a game, that would be a huge change in terms of.
I think he can go up just a little bit on the 3-point. He was close to 40%. I'd love to see him be the Laker that actually has a 40% from behind the 3-point arc.
He didn't hit 41% from 3?
39.8.
Oh, I might have just been looking at the playoff numbers.
ESPN rounds everything off to the higher number to make it look
okay.
better.
So let's see if Austin can do the 50, 90, 40.
Okay.
That would be a good goal, right?
Yeah.
He's
absolutely.
been close to 90. He's been close to 40. And if he shoots 50% from inside the 3, then, or just in general, his field goal percentage, that might be something that when you look at his season, if he plays 70, 75 games, you're looking at him going, boy, was that a good signing at $14 million. You also have Anthony Davis, who looks like has dropped weight. This is why it's important for him to play the 4. If you have a less heavy AD, That's less pressure on his feet, less pressure on his legs. And if you have a center that can at least take some of the offensive burden off him and just at least be somebody that you can rely on size-wise, lengthwise on defense, then you have just play the JaVale McGee and Dwight Howard role from 2020. That's all AD needs. He just needs that. If Jackson can be either McGee or Howard, and then if we bring on another center who can do one of two each as well, that's all we'll need. That's really all we'll need for Anthony Davis to be at a position to succeed based off his skill set. And then Austin Reeves, and then LeBron James, and seeing how the new guys kind of come together chemistry wise during training camp, we're going to get a chance to see what that is. And as far as the younger guys, I don't know. I don't know yet. I haven't seen enough. I'm looking forward to watching tomorrow's summer league game. Now that we've got a game under their belts, we can kind of see, okay, you guys got your first game out, got the little jitters out. Maybe now, a little bit of adjustment by the coach and some nerves that have gone away can start showing a little bit of what you can do.
Once again, it's the Lakers Fast Break. Happy 4th of July, everyone. It is Gerald Glassford along with Joe Soro. We truly appreciate you being part of what we're doing today. The crowd is already filling up here in the best Lakers chat room that's out there right here at the Lakers Fast Break. And we truly appreciate everyone out there being a part of what we do here right on the 4th of July. Again, talking Lakers. I want to ask you, though, when it comes to what the Lakers are doing and if they've made that incremental movement as far as maybe possibly passing Denver, is it the case where the Lakers made all these moves and you think that they're better than the Nuggets, or do you think it's the Nuggets, losing Bruce Brown, Jeff Green, losing a lot of that depth that they had, and now facing some things as far as possible over the course of the season, not having any kind of depth coming out the bench that may be the reason why the Lakers might have inched ahead? Is it more the Nuggets or more the Lakers on why you think that they're at or maybe above what the Nuggets are?
I don't know where this depth has gone for the Nuggets. They lose one guy and all of a sudden Bruce Brown was that important. I didn't even hear his name.
Because their rotation was only 8 deep anyways.
You have Jokic, you have Jamal Murray, you have Aaron Gordon, you have Michael Porter Jr., you have Christian Brown, spelled like Braun, Christian Brown, who could take over Bruce Brown's position. You also have Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. You brought in a vet like Reggie Jackson. Maybe he plays a little bit better with that kind of cast versus the monstrosity that was in LA. But regardless, the Denver Nuggets, talent-wise, are fine. What I'm going to be anticipating is a letdown of relief of we just killed ourselves to win this championship. We played as good as we can. How can we go above that? The likelihood is they can't. So complacency is what I'm going to be looking for. Can they repeat this next year is the question. And for me, my early prediction is no. Because you can just see it in guys like Jokic. You can see it in guys. Maybe Jamal Murray has that gene where.
Because with Jamal Murray, I think he's still only been a postseason player recognized. He hasn't even had an All-Star game yet. So
it's hard to go. It's very hard to get into the All-Star game from the West, especially as a guard.
So I think that's motivation for him to still be,
sure.
improving over the course of a regular season.
Dame Lillard, you could argue, was behind Steph Curry, was the best guard in all of basketball. And he didn't make the All-Star game for years. It's tough. It's tough in the West, especially at the guard position. But Denver just reminds me so much of the Dallas Mavericks of 2011. I don't know why. They just do. They maybe it's because they just had this run. Denver was more of the front runner during the year than, let's say, Dallas. Dallas was what were they? The number 2 seed, which in a way you could probably call that a front running team anyways, but no one expected Denver to win in 2011, but people thought Denver could win this year. And I did anyways. In preseason, I thought Miami might have enough to beat them in the finals, but I was wrong there. But in the end, the Lakers, in terms of their improvement this summer is the ability to bring maybe these new pieces into what was already working towards the end of the season until they reached the Western Conference Finals. And the reason why it didn't work in the Western Conference Finals, more than anything, was the fact that the stars hit the wall. They couldn't finish games, and if they were able to finish games, I believe there would have been the series would have been much more competitive, and there were maybe been a shot to win the series. But the two stars, AD and LeBron, just didn't have enough towards the end. But these guys are going to hopefully help them now that they're going to be playing together from the beginning to devise a offense and a system to where we can cater to those guys throughout the year and hopefully have them fresh for the playoffs.
Once again, it's the Lakers Fast Break. It is Joe Soro along with me, Gerald Glassford. Thanks so much for watching, listening. But also here today is Good Man Indeed. He is the guy that just can't get out of Toronto traffic unless it's actually to go ahead and say hello to us Americans for 4th of July. It is the Magic Man, Sean Grice. And Magic Man, great to have you here, my friend. Of course, again, belated happy Canada Day, but I wanted to ask you this, my friend. When it comes to the fireworks here in the States, again, a lot of what went on in the NBA was centered around the Lakers and the improvements that they made. I know some are really happy with it, talking about how well they did. Others just saying, well, did they actually get better? Be that as it may, I think they did a lot to go ahead and serve their depth well in several areas, especially in the wings, which I know that was something that was an issue for us last season. But how far do you think the Lakers have improved themselves as comparatively to other teams in the Western Conference?
Yeah, you know what, Gerald? I understand that some maybe credible opinions might have been lukewarm on our moves this offseason, but relatively
On
speaking,
temps, it's like, okay, slowly,
yeah,
yeah, that's the
yeah.
one I heard the most.
When you were saying that, that's the first guy that popped into my head. I mean,
He went on the air talking about the
yeah,
Red
he
Sox.
did, and it like his mood is so affected by what the Lakers do. It's unreal. He was so depressed from about I would say the beginning of March to until the Lakers were finally eliminated by the Denver Nuggets. He was forlorn. You could tell the sales of all his energy just zap out of him whenever he has to talk about the Lakers and whenever he has to talk about the Lakers doing something
Well,
good.
it's a mandate at ESPN to talk about the Lakers like 24 hours a day, I think.
Yeah,
I'm kidding, of course.
exactly.
Quite a bit.
Exactly. And he probably begrudges that as well, but that's beside the point. I think we did very well, Gerald. Across the Western Conference, I would say I don't think there was a team that did better than we did. I think you can argue maybe a team like
I think
Phoenix.
Phoenix is, yeah.
Phoenix, yeah, they leveled up, even though they're only working with like minimum level guys. They got some talent in there. It's not just 3 men and 11 scrubs. They have a decent squad. I wasn't too impressed with Golden State's move. Actually, acquiring Chris Paul was kind of a head scratcher to me, considering the way they want to play. And also considering the fact that, your backcourt just got a whole lot smaller. Even if Jordan Poole wasn't being productive, you lost a lot of size. I don't understand that one. Gerald Dallas made some really confusing moves. I mean, to me, they didn't get any better.
Well, I think they did pretty good in the draft. I
Yeah,
think
the
their
draft
draft was pretty good.
they did
Them
well.
getting Lively is a perfect fit for them, just like it would have been for us. I really think that that's the case. And then again, Seth Curry on a cheap deal. Anytime you can get a guy that can shoot 42%. Yes, I know he can't play D, I know he's really small, but again, anybody who can shoot 42 to 45% for you from behind the arc is always a threat and always
Yeah,
good
I
to
just
have on
think
your roster.
absolutely no. You're 100% right. I just think you're right about Kid. He's just going to do a lot of watching again this year
Yes.
because they don't have the requisite defense, I think, to try and stay with the heavy hitters and the bangers in the West, Gerald. I think they live and die by scoring 140 points a night. I just don't think the defense is there. They really lost a lot by trading Dorian Finney-Smith. He was not only their best individual defender, he was obviously their best team defender as well. And their defense just cratered when they had to get rid of him.
I want to touch on something right now. Eduardo brought up in the best Lakers chat room that's out there, the Lakers Fast Break. You know what? They've got a lot of talent on that team. It's all young talent, but they did bring in Fred VanVleet to try to solidify the roster. They also got what I think is the worst contract in the NBA in Dylan Brooks. I have no idea on what planet you are on if you think it's okay to go ahead and sign a guy that was dumped by Memphis Grizzlies to get a 4-year, $80 million contract. I understand you had to fill up your cap space. I
Mm-hmm.
think it would have been absolutely much smarter for you to just hold on to that open space because you don't need to fill it until the start of the season. There are going to be some teams in August, September when camp starts that, you know what, maybe we want to go ahead and dump some of these salaries. We'll give you some draft picks there, Houston. Your thoughts on this, my friend? I absolutely thought the Van Vliet was going to be an overpay. You needed to throw the bag at him in order to go ahead and get him to Houston. But the Dylan Brooks signing, Jock Lawndale given a nice fat $32 million contract as well. Those were overpays. In the case of Brooks, it was a huge overpay that I thought is down the line, showing these kids how to, act like him. I think it's just a terrible mistake, especially because of the fact that they've got so many wing players now that need to play, and they're not going to behind Dylan Brooks and chucking up threes.
Yeah, Gerald. Those two moves in particular are kind of it's almost you know oil and water there with bringing a vet like Fred VanVleet, and then you counter that by bringing in a knucklehead like Dylan Brooks. Um, to me, that's a confusing move. I agree, especially in the money. The term, maybe you had to give him 4 years, but you didn't have to stretch it out to 20 million a year for a guy who can't really shoot that well. His handle is above average, but it's not as good as he thinks it is. He's not the facilitator he thinks he is. He's
He's
not
not the
the
player he thinks
yeah,
he
he thinks he
is.
is. No, he's on another planet with the skill set he thinks he has versus what we see. That was very confusing to me as well, Gerald. And you're right, they do have a lot of young guys. And it's a very confusing move when you bring in a solid vet like Fred VanVleet, who's actually a professional, and a lot of guys can learn from. This is a guy who went from undrafted to signing $130 million contract. So that's a guy you want to be picking his brain all the time. But his shooting guard on opening night is just a terrible addition. And I think, look, whatever happened. I would have much rather seen, if you're Houston in that organization, give the money to Brooks Lopez.
Mm-hmm.
Offer it to
Right.
him. Offer that
We,
money in that term to him rather than Dylan Brooks. At least Lopez, even at his age, he's coming in. He can shoot. He's a very good defender. He's also a pro, Gerald. I thought that would have been an excellent pickup for them to try and cushion this young squad with competent vets.
I agree with you, my friend. I thought it would have been a better choice to go in different directions. I know they would have probably had to throw 30 to 35 at Brooks to get him away from Milwaukee, but that to me was still would have been better than what you did for Dylan Brooks. Once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. It is Gerald Glassford along with the MagicMan Sean Grice and Joe Soro. Joe, I bring it back to you. Roy actually made a joke, but that had me thinking about the Lakers and how they've changed so dramatically from just a couple seasons ago when they had actually Methuselah run the team and they thought they could get every single old guy on the planet and have the 2013 All-Star team and roll that out there and see what clicks. They've done a complete 180. Have they gone too far? I don't think so, personally. They do have a lot of youth on this team now, a lot of athleticism, but I think they have enough veterans to go ahead and stave that off as far as I think it's not the perfect balance, Joe, but I think it's really good that what they have right now.
Well, there's only so much you can do
Yeah.
to abide by the rules.
Yeah.
You have two guys that are going to be making $90 million, and the salary cap is what, 169, something like that,
Yeah.
158, 59, whatever. But they've spread out the wealth. They've spread it out. They have young guys, which is key. They have young guys that actually have some skills, and we're gonna have to let these guys prove that they're worth what they're getting paid to do, and they're worth being a Laker. And no noise coming out of Laker or LeBron camp or AD camp seems to be, in terms of their injuries, seems to be something that's not a big deal. I guess maybe LeBron might have had a surgery, and he'll tell somebody maybe next month that he's back to 100%. I don't know. As long as those guys are healthy going into training camp, that's a good sign. And then Darvin Ham can start putting this thing together so that they can come out the gate winning, which is something we haven't done in a very long time. Feels like we're always behind the eight ball at the beginning of the year. I'd like to start this year 10-2 if we can.
I agree. You and I both. It makes things a lot easier. MagicMan, we obviously haven't seen the NBA schedule as of yet, but when it comes to what the Lakers can go ahead and start off as, I don't see or foresee outside of a major injury us going 2-10 to start off the season, which absolutely, as you know, caused the Lakers to climb uphill at a steep pace ever since.
Yeah, it was just an uphill battle all year after that horrid start, Gerald. So I'm in agreement with the panel. It's a consensus. If they don't start 2-10, it's likely they'll probably be fighting for a home court advantage. I would hope, barring injury. You should be a top four, maybe a top five seed, depending on a slide here or there. But for the most part, Gerald, they need to win inside their own division as well. That was another problem early on in the year. You lost to the Clippers, you lost to the Warriors, you lost to the Kings. I mean, for God's sakes, Joe was adamant all year about kicking the Kings' ass when they stomped us in the preseason. What, by 47 or was it 43? Yeah. It's ridiculous. So I actually want to see them, like, you need to beat the teams inside your division if you want to be a Western Conference Finals home court team. You need to beat the teams that are competing for those same spots. And, we're not talking about like complete and utter domination. We're saying, when you play them 6 times a year, maybe you win 3 or 4 instead of only winning 1 or 2, and that was one of the issues as well. We were in last place in the Pacific Division while we were in 13th for the longest time, and we were the only team in that division to make it to the Western Conference Finals. So the last place team in the Pacific Division almost all year made to the Western Conference Finals. Imagine what we could do if we don't shoot ourselves in the foot.
Absolutely. Again, if we get off to a decent start or a good start, I think it's going to set a much better tone for the regular season. I mean, Joe, you saw it with Denver. While all the other teams had problems and issues during the course of the season, Denver just cruised until the last month of the season when they just did the El Foldo Act, but it didn't deter them at all. They finished number 1 in the West, something that which you and I had talked about, unfortunately, had projected them to be in the regular season. Then you obviously had you're having them get to the finals. I wanted to ask you as far as what the Lakers can do. If the Lakers can come out strong, has some good health, that was a key to Denver's success last year, was their health. Do you see the Lakers, even with advanced LeBron at his age and AD with his fragility, do you see them finally going through one season where they both can go ahead and come off rather well?
If they do, it's likely a title. I don't see how it wouldn't. LeBron had a 27 point a game average in his 20th season, and LeBron can still play, but he just can't play 40 minutes every night anymore. It's just not going to happen. We do need AD to be better than he was this last year.
Do you think he can step up?
It's just going to come down to health. Yeah, absolutely, he can step up if he plays. If he plays 70 games, he will win Defensive Player of the Year at the very least. If that happens, you are talking about a team that's going to be very scary in the playoffs, because that means other guys are playing well as well. And LeBron's going to play whatever the team dictates. That's when we talk about greatness with LeBron, it's not the accomplishments. It's not about who he's better than from the past, from the present. It's his ability to be that great and being able to adapt his game to whatever situation calls. The guy won a freaking assist title in his 17th season. And that just doesn't happen. This random guy that was dropping 30 a game, winning championship in Cleveland, Miami, being the all-world player. All of a sudden, you know what? I think I'm going to be more of the initiator here and just get that thing going. He had a turnaround jumper that at that time, the construction of the team allowed to happen. I'd like to see more of that. I'd like to see him back to doing that turnaround, Hakeem kind of dream shake. Well, he wouldn't really do a dream shake, but kind of being in between the three and the basket and making those shots, because that actually helps. That actually helps the offense kind of keep the defense honest. And if he's making that shot, you're in trouble, because if he's making that shot, that means you got to deal with the fact that he's either going to go to the hole or he's going to make a shot at the mid range, and then you're really in trouble.
You know what the big difference is in the post between Hakeem and LeBron, Joe, is that LeBron's shoulders are so broad that even if you try and drag him down, his core is so strong, you can't really do it.
Mm-hmm.
He just the gravity at which he plays with, even above the rim, is impressive.
And I didn't think he would be able to do that. LeBron, there was really a weakness in his game before 2020. Did he really use his footwork well in the post? Because when you get older, you want to start going down in the post a little more to, lessen the wear and tear. I'm not talking bang. No one bangs like Charles Barkley or Karl Malone like back in the day, or even Shaq. No, it's just you don't want to run every time. You don't want to shoot from deep. The percentages of that shot going in, especially LeBron James, goes down. So by going close to the basket and someone who can shoot from 15 and use his footwork and use his body to get separation, that was a huge plus. And I don't think the NBA could adapt to it that year, and the Lakers ended up winning the title because of it. Go ahead, Sean. You were going to say something? No? Okay. So with that,
but that's okay, Sean. Joe will say it for you.
That's funny. Fire up a firecracker, smoke goes in your nose.
Oh wow!
The Lakers for the last few seasons it's the same. It's going to be the same story. We need Anthony Davis to be on the court. We need him. We need him to be on the court, and we need him to be at its peak. If he's at his peak, he's still 31. I don't know. I can't say he's not capable of doing it until he's 35 or 36 and he's broken down. 31 is not old. If he can go through this season with no major injury, that will say a lot. That will say a lot. And we're still going to wait, though. We're still going to wait to see how the league reacts to certain teams playing. I have a really good feeling there's going to be a couple stars before the trading deadline that are going to want to get out of their teams. I can feel it. It's one, and the guy in Atlanta is the one I'm looking at. Whether he goes to LA or not is not. I'm not trying to predict that at all. But if the Lakers are sitting in a position where they're like, if we get this guy, it's almost a guarantee they're going to win a championship, barring a major injury, of course, right? Do you take that chance? Abso-freaking-lutely. You take that chance. And if you don't make it, it's okay. Guys, this is not the Westbrook thing. I don't think the Westbrook trade or Westbrook in general will ever happen again. That was a once-in-a-lifetime mistake. Get that out of your head. We want to focus on, can we win a title the next 2 seasons, at least one more? This is going to be the best season for that. And I believe Rob is going to be just waiting in the weeds and seeing how things develop. And if something presents itself, he's going to pounce. And that's one of the big benefits, besides the talent, besides the team structure. One of the things that isn't discussed enough is how Rob has put together the salaries and the players to allow flexibility for something like that. That's another good thing. And go ahead.
No, I actually go ahead. I was just actually
and that needs to be that needs to kind of play even with the fact that they did bring everyone back that we wanted. He has kept those contracts flexible enough to where if something does come our way, we have an opportunity to explore it.
Once again, it's the Lakers Fast Break. It is Joe Soro along with Magic Man Sean Grice. It's me, Gerald Glassford. Thanks so much for watching and listening. Magic Man, I want to go ahead and turn it for a couple of minutes on still what's going out there in NBA free agency. There's still the drama that's continuing for Damian Lillard as the Portland Trailblazers continue to go ahead and look for alternatives for trades because obviously you don't like or they don't like what Miami is offering. Your thoughts, though, on this, plus also it extends the drama for James Harden. I think the two are related, that you probably won't see one unless you see the other come in close proximity to each other as far as the trades are concerned, because one of the destinations or possible destinations for Damian Lillard is Philadelphia. So your thoughts on when we could see some movement for Damian Lillard and or James Harden?
Yeah, I think you're spot on there, Gerald. I agree with you. I think it's 50 card pickup with those two. I think once one piece goes, then the other one will shortly follow. Interesting what is going on free agent. I would say the number one free agent right now is still Grant Williams. He hasn't no one signed him to an offer sheet as of yet, which is kind of surprising to me. But as far as the whole Dame situation goes, it seems to me that unless Philly wants to include Tyrese Maxey in any deal, there's no way Damian Lillard's going to be a Sixer. Would Maury make that deal? Seen him trade Magic Beans before. But this situation's a little different. The guy he's got a picture of in his house has basically told him he doesn't want to play on his team anymore. He's an all-star at this point, Gerald. He's not an all-NBA player. He's not an MVP candidate. He's the one who opted in, which says that he was probably surprised. I don't know why he would be, but he was surprised that teams don't want to give him term. They're willing to give him money. They're just not willing to give him term. I think Kyrie has had his eyes wide open to that as well. And I mean, it's from your previous experience. I mean, Harden was dissatisfied in Houston, didn't like it there, wanted to trade, so they traded him. During COVID, he couldn't do extracurricular activities he wanted to do in Brooklyn, New York, because New York shut down. Whined about that. Won out. They traded him, and we're here again. I think that he's likely going to end up on the Clippers, Gerald, and again, that's going to be the mess that we all think it's going to be, because either one of those two is not going to be healthy towards the playoffs or even in the playoffs. They're going to have to rely on a 35-year-old James Harden. You get what you get there. As far as Dame is concerned, Joe, I still think he ends up in Miami. Miami is his preferred destination. I see a lot of just posturing with reports, but I expect Dame to be a Heat before training camp.
One thing though with the Clippers, it's hey, their own doing. I had said at this point last year when we got to our NBA predictions for the year, I thought the Clippers, if they weren't going to do it that season, they weren't ever going to do it, because the team that they have is going to eventually, with all these names on their roster, we're eventually going to go ahead and get old and broken down. That happened sooner than I thought it would. And it looks like from what you got now, and you bring in James Harden, who is old, and he's been pretty durable, but he still has those hamstring issues. It just seems to me that the Clippers could be on the verge of a total disaster.
Yeah, 100%, Gerald. And
Could
it
be. I didn't
could
say
be.
they would be.
Yeah, if he's they're gonna have to give up man if they're gonna get Harden. That's the
Agreed.
only, Maury's probably just told them flat out, okay, we'll put this deal on the table. We'll shelf it for now, but this is who you have to give up if you want. And Gerald, he put, like you said, they did this to themselves. We've talked about this before, but also acquiring a player like this who puts you in that kind of position does not bode well for your organization. I mean, would you be, now you're looking at possibly extending a 35-year-old James Harden, a 33-year-old Paul George who has an injury history, and a 33-year-old Kawhi Leonard who's got an injury history. It's just that's a bad roll of the dice. A really bad roll of the dice, but you know what? Couldn't have happened to a more fitting organization, in my point of view.
And that'll be funny going into the brand new arena with all those broken down.
Oh my
players.
God. That'll make the 2012-2013 Lakers look like
it'll remind like 2 seasons ago with the Lakers, where they came out there with a
oh God,
10-year-old
yeah.
all-star team.
Oh, that's gonna be a slamma jamma time when young teams play those broke ass.
Yes, absolutely, indeed. Roy Estrada says it best. I hope Harden goes to the Flippers, because with those 4 clowns, aka Kawhi, Westbrook, PG, and Harden, it would make for good circus. I don't know. PG has been on the trading block now for the past couple of weeks. I have a feeling he's gone by the trade deadline if the Clippers season doesn't turn right. Your thoughts, though, on what's going on with free agency? I know it was mentioned in the chat, Joe, that, what is going to be the framework for a Dame Lillard deal? I think the only real option that I see out there, because Miami they just do not have enough to get it done. As much as Dame wants to go to Miami, it's not going to get it done. Brooklyn with Mikal Bridges, or Philadelphia with Tyrese Maxey?
No, they're going to need a third team regardless. I don't think I wouldn't even take Tyrese Maxey in a deal with Harden or some package like that. I just, and I don't know necessarily if Dame wants to play in Philly. I guess there would be better. It's not a bad place. You'd have Joel Embiid there, and you'd be the other guy, and you'd have a chance at winning a title. But he wants to go to Miami because I think he respects the culture there, and he knows that Jimmy Butler will be focused on winning versus MVPs like Joel Embiid would. There's going to need to be a third team, and Portland's going to need to get a lot of assets in that trade, which is probably what's taking a long time.
It is, and there's going to be particular, but I don't know. I just don't think that Miami has enough assets. I really don't. Tyler Hero does nothing to anyone on that. Sean, your thoughts? If you're being offered, you know, a Hero and some picks for the greatest Blazer, arguably in their history, that doesn't do enough for me.
No, not at all, Gerald. Especially considering I just drafted a 6'2" combo guard. I've already got another combo guard that needs the ball in his hands, and you're asking me to take on a shooting
Not even
guard.
mentioning Simons.
Yes, exactly. So you're right, Gerald. That doesn't do it for me either. I'd be, Simons and Scoot both need the ball in their hands. I don't really
Shane
want.
Sharp.
Yeah, Shade Sharp too. So I don't really want to pay for a guy coming into a new contract that pays him that makes him the highest paid player on my roster. No, thank you. Like you said, Gerald and Joe, it's going to require a third team. Somebody's going to have to facilitate what either Pat Riley or Daryl Morey wants, along with satisfying Drew Cronin, because as we've seen with Portland, Gerald, and we've talked about this over the past couple of years, whether or not it was letting Neil O'Shea go or watching a lot of your bright young executives in the front office go to other organizations, the chickens have come home to roost for Portland here, because you don't really have a captain manning that ship, but you need the requisite picks and or a really nice young player to sell the city of Portland that they should still pay their hard-earned money to come see a team that might not be very good.
I don't think the Jeremy Grant deal was good at all, but we're going to get back. We're going to go do a rewind on the best and worst free agent contracts, because there's been a couple modifications. I know everything out there here in a minute, but Joe, I'm not exactly blaming the front office currently.
Yay! A subscriber.
Thank you, Eric D, for subscribing. Truly appreciate it. So you get the latest notifications on when we go live with the latest Lakers Fast Break. But Joe, I am still not putting the whole onus on the current front office. I think that the issue of a Lillard trade should have been dealt with, at least 1 or 2 seasons ago. They're obviously in a pickle now because of it. They did make the signing of Grant, which I didn't, care for at all, even if Damian Lillard was staying. I think the situation in Portland is kind of in flux. I think they've got a lot of youth and talent that needs the playing time. I'm just not sure they're going to go ahead and get it.
Yeah, that was a bad deal. It's $32 million for 5 years for Jeremy Grant was just a head scratcher. I cannot figure out why 5 years. If he had signed for 3, were they worried about him leaving? I don't know. I don't know what most of these teams are doing. I've said this for years though, is the easiest job I think to get if you're got the political part of the NBA in your favor is general manager of an NBA team. Most of them are terrible at talent evaluation, terrible at money management, terrible at building an image, because the players tend to dominate the landscape because of their rare talent. But people need to do some kind of a seminar and watch what Pat Riley does and watch what R.C. Buford and those guys in San Antonio are doing. Build a culture, build some stability.
Hold on,
Yes.
I've got something for you too. Just came across the wire. Not a big deal per se, but it could be something interesting. Bol, which is very interesting because he is talented. Bol just got waived by the Orlando Magic. Something the Lakers might keep an eye on.
Is Bol better than
Christian Wood?
No,
I don't know.
is he better than I totally blanked on him. The one we just cut, Mo Bamba.
He's more versatile than Mo Bamba for a 7-footer. Go ahead, Sean. I got you. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was in answer of Joe's question, quite simply, yes.
Yeah,
yes,
he can't guard. No, he can't guard Jokic, John. You're right, but
no.
how many
guys can?
Yeah. He
How
is
did
very
Anthony
talented.
Davis do in the Western Conference Finals? You know,
That one's man, he did pretty good for Orlando. That's a hit. Okay, and you signed Joe Ingles to a broken down, just coming off an ACL in his mid-30s.
you
Joe
know what,
Ingles
Gerald?
to
They recently signed Mo Wagner to an extension. Though you've got Wagner, you've got Wendell Carter, you've got Bencaro. It's just that front court is really
I
packed.
know, but the Bo's talented.
I
No
know,
kidding.
man.
He
Yeah,
even
that's
plays the
a real
guard
surprise.
position at times for them.
So that's a real
Wow.
surprise.
Yeah, that is a real surprise indeed. Again, he is not the greatest in the world. I get that, but man, the guy has got enough talent to play in this NBA over a 35-year-old broken down Joe Ingles that you gave a nice fat contract to. That's crazy. But that's just the foresight of some organizations. But and all that's said and done, Joe, have you revised your thoughts on the best and worst free agent contracts so far? I made a couple, different things as far as decisions are made on mine. But your thoughts on the best and worst contracts so far this free agency?
There's too many worst contracts to pick one. There's guys that are getting paid. You could even look at Fred VanVleet's contract where he's getting paid $42 million a year. I'm like, what? I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't know.
Well, there's an advantage to Texas, Joe. They've got no in-state tax, and you basically keep pretty much all the money you make. There's no jock tax in Texas either.
And that's probably why Fred.
I have a feeling that he really busted their chops over that third year. His representation. They were probably willing to give him 2 years, but the Raptors. What's being said over here is that they were willing to offer him like a 4-year deal at like $30 million a piece. So Houston just had to level up.
I don't know what they were smoking when they signed Dylan to a 4-year deal. That's just insane. Yeah,
It was very Mozgov-esque.
Yeah.
I remember when we were signing him, I was going, they better have not given this guy more than a year plus a team option as a second year. Then we ended up finding out that they offered them pretty much almost the max for 4 years. I'm like, what? And then before we could let that sink in, they freaking signed
Luol Deng
for 4 years. Oh my God, it was.
And we were living with that one for a while.
I think that was self-sabotage. I think there was something going on there where Mitch is like, I'm gonna jack these guys before I peace out. I still say that was what he did. There's no way anybody in their right mind would have made a deal like that and legitimately thought they were making a good deal.
That's another good point, Roy, as far as some of these $200 million plus extensions. Desmond Bain, Tyrese Halliburton come to mind. Those guys both over $200 million if they hit all their incentives.
And that adds to the whole point of why these guys are terrible business people.
I think I think the Deng contract came off the books last season. I think that was
because they had to stretch it.
Yes.
They needed to get some things taken care of the year they traded for Anthony Davis. So they stretched that last season that he had into, I think, 3 years, $5 million each.
Yeah, and I think it came off last season.
Yes, it did come off last season. But this only goes to show you guys that this is why the CBA has been constructed the way it is, because the owners are just clueless in how to construct a basketball team. And the only reason why the league they can get away with it is the league is so ingrained in our culture. Even the TV contracts that went belly up didn't really affect. Nothing will affect the NFL, the NBA, Major League Baseball ever again. I just don't think anything ever will. And the COVID situation was added proof that these guys just aren't affected by anything anymore. I don't know what it would take. No one loses money anymore. No one goes bankrupt. No one does anything in the 3 major sport leagues here in America. So when you don't have the incentive to be good and there's not a punishment for sucking. So let's use current, like this last month subject. Michael Jordan was one of the worst owners in the history of the NBA in terms of his performance.
His team never got past the first round.
His team never was in any way competitive for a title or even deep into a playoff. And he made what? 2.7 billion in profit. So why should these guys do anything? Oh, hey guys, the new CBA says you got to pay a guy like Dylan Brooks $20 million a year, but you're still going to make $80 million after that. Okay, sure, here. So you want to ask that question? What the hell were you thinking? Paying Dylan Brooks?
You know what? Dude, like a buzzer just went off in my head when Joe was talking. Yeah, let's look at who owns the Houston Rockets. Tillman Fertitta spends more money than God.
It's true. There's no consequence, guys. This is the part where when you ask yourself what's going on in this sports world, what's going on at ESPN, what's going on in the world, guys, it's right in front of you. Pay a freaking attention to it. Okay, there's no consequence to crappy performance anymore when you get to a certain level. And then the ones that are working their butts off, they're the ones being punished. So everything is backwards. Everything is flipped upside down. And a lot of it is because us, the viewer, just like we were saying during the year, all this whining and bitching about the Lakers, what the hell do they care? We're still watching the games. We're still talking about it. We spent 6 hours a day during the game days talking about them. We're giving them free publicity. So we're part of the problem. If the product sucks, okay, let's say you buy a product, whatever it is, a pair of shoes, and they fall apart after a week. Maybe this is, maybe it was a dud. So you buy you buy another pair, same ones. They went out after 2 weeks. You know what? This shoe sucks. I'm not buying this anymore. We don't do that in sports. When they suck more, we talk about it more. We keep giving them more attention. It's a rigged game. It's a rigged game by a lot. And gambling, now that we've accepted gambling more, you might as well just accept that trash is going to be trash. And I used ESPN as an example because that seems to be the theme right now with what's been going on at Disney. And we have accepted that every time I turn on an ESPN post-game or pre-game show, you have 3 schmucks on there, 2 of them whom I've never seen in my life. It seems like there's always some revolving door there.
It's all New York based.
And they're talking, and they're trying to fit some kind of demographic on top of that. I'm like, dude, what the hell is some Nimrod who obviously doesn't know jack squat about this sport going to tell me? I know the NBA. I know the history of the NBA better than any of those idiots. And I would never be on there. Maybe that's why. Maybe anybody in their right mind won't go there. But then that's a ESPN problem. You need to start finding talent, people that actually know the sport. But the crowd doesn't demand it. They don't demand it. They want feel-good stories. They want to feel, oh, well, this guy saved some orangutan in the freaking forest, and his family was able to eat for a week. I'm like, what does that have to do with basketball? There was a hilarious bit Bill Burr did on how there was this I guess I can't remember which game it was in the NFL where they had do you know somebody who has cancer? And then people had this sheet with like 3 or 4 or 5. It basically meant that you had 4 or 5 people that you knew that had cancer.
Oh, Joe, that was the Major League Baseball All-Star game.
Right. There you go. Perfect. Thank you for that. Exactly. That's what it was. And he's like, he used the thing. He's like, we don't go to a theater, pause the movie in the middle of the movie and go, oh, hey, by the way, hey, look, my cousin died in a motorcycle accident. But that's not here or there. Let's go back to the movie. It's like, what does this have to do with this game? We watch sports to get away from stupid garbage. That's what we watch. Every now and then, if there was a platform that you wanted to express, okay. Every once in a while, it's a good forum. I get it. But now it's every 5 seconds. Doris Burke, who I actually enjoyed on the sidelines, she got into the booth. She's doing color. And then all of a sudden, she turns into this, oh my God, you guys don't have any idea how this person came from this area. Everybody comes from some disaster now. Well, if everybody's from some disaster, then what's the story really? Like, what are we identifying? Like, is it just to identify, oh, he made it out, so that means now I can go to the gym? Yay! Cool, right? Is that what we're trying to get? It's lazy journalism. It's lazy commentating. That's what no talent people do. They just throw crap just to, oh, it's nice. No. I don't want to know about that, okay? If I want to know about that, I'll continue to go help battered women down here in Anza who need food, who need clothes, so that they can get away from their sick, crazy people that are around them, okay? When I'm watching basketball, when I'm watching football or baseball, I want to watch the damn sport, and I want the commentators to know what the hell they're talking about.
Once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. It is again Joe Soro, MagicMan, Sean Grice.
No, that one was pretty good. That one was pretty good.
Yes, that was pretty good. I love what Larry Nelson said. This dude, a douche, an angry douche. Larry, you don't know how close. You don't know how close you really are on that one. But it is the Lakers Fast Break. We truly
easy there, Larry. Easy there.
Yeah,
it is the 4th of July.
It is the 4th
of July.
No worries. You need to stop looking in the mirror when you say that. Come on, man. Be better to yourself.
All right. But MagicMan, I want to ask you this. I noticed you put in the comments, again, for me, I think the worst signing out there by far is Dylan Brooks. But you had something different in mind as far as the best and worst free agent signings so far.
Yes, Gerald. Let's start with the worst. I think the worst move that was made were the Hornets extending LaMelo Ball for 5 years and max. Dude has skills, no doubt about it. He's a favorite on League Pass. Just can't stay healthy. Can turn an ankle at any point in time. At any point on the court, which is concerning, right? And given his small frame, Gerald, I don't think we're looking at a player who's going to turn into like AC Green or Mikal Bridges and play in 400 straight games. They don't have the requisite backup and talent to help facilitate that kind of move, especially considering the fact that you just drafted another young player high in the draft. I just don't think that the Hornets would ever see an ROI, return on investment, with that contract with LaMelo. So that would, to me, would be the worst. The best one, honestly, sorry to be a homer, but I think the best one was us signing Austin Reeves. There was talk of 4 years, 25 mil per. I thought that would have handicapped both the Lakers and Austin. Austin signs for a 4-year, $56 million deal. I think that's a steal, Gerald.
I think the Austin Reeves deal is going to go down as a pretty darn good deal. You're right. I think that is probably one of the best deals that are out there. Eric Gordon, I know that Joe said he's already washed, but if you get any value for him at the minimum, a guy that can maybe still get 15 points in the league, 17 points in the league, if he gets you that for $2 million, I think that could be a good deal. Anybody who gets Christian Wood at this point, whoever it is, if you let him play and get the PT, I think whether it's the Lakers or someone else, you're talking about a 17-point score from 38% from behind the arc. Whoever gets that is going to be a low money deal. And I think that's going to be a good deal as well. So there, I think that's something out there. Of course, again, I said Dylan Brooks is the worst deal. You really think LaMelo Ball is the worst deal of all these deals, extensions? Yeah, let me go ahead and bring you back on, Sean.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I do, Gerald. I just think Joe had encapsulated that team summarily by just they've made almost all the wrong moves since Mike took over ownership, and before he leaves, now he wants to take credit for Brandon Miller. We'll see if that pays off, because I'm not so sure he should have went number 2, but that's another conversation. I just think over the 5 years, Gerald, with the amount of money you're giving LaMelo Ball, there's an expectation there. You expect him to be, in the MVP talk if you're giving him that kind of money and you expect those kind of results. To me, he's not a top tier point guard in the league, Gerald, let alone the Eastern Conference. I would, Gerald, let me ask you a question. Would you consider Tyrese Halliburton a more talented point guard than LaMelo Ball?
Yes.
I would too. So until he steps up like to that level, I don't think that they'll ever see a return on the investment for that kind of money.
But what actual choice do they have in Charlotte? I mean, they've got such a bleak situation. They seemingly just whatever talents they either get too injured or just don't fill up to their expectations. LaMelo Ball is the closest thing they have to a superstar, which again, he is not, but he's the closest thing that they have to someone that is a threat for the other team. They could actually end up being the worst team in the NBA next season. I mean, when you got San Antonio and Houston's got all those young players they have to start playing. San Antonio has Victor Wembanyama, and they want to put at least a little bit better team around him to get them motivated to play better.
How many
Charlotte could actually be the worst team in the NBA when you think about it.
Yes, Gerald, I agree 100%. I really, I don't see San Antonio, losing 60 plus games, even with a rookie like Victor.
Unless Miles Bridges comes back and he's
Yeah.
motivated, which he might be.
You're right. And even then, Gerald, they're kind of, it's almost like a Russian roulette in that situation, because Bridges has a really good year. He's an unrestricted free agent. And even though you have his bird rights, it would be tremendously difficult to try and bring him back, when you say, especially since they're I believe they're still in a negotiation with PJ Washington, because they haven't found a number for him yet, right?
Yeah, no one has. He's also out there and could be a possibility for the Lakers as well. Although doesn't rebound very well at all.
No, he doesn't. Not for his size, right? That's a really big concern.
Shoots good.
Yeah,
but just does not rebound. Which is as everyone knows out there, one of the Lakers' flaws this past season was offensive rebounds by the other team, and that was something that I was hoping that we could alleviate, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case this season. So that's still going to be a thorn on our side, because we just don't have the bodies in there inside to go ahead and help AD rebound. Nor do they have the discipline. The Lakers are a watching team. They don't box out. It's a frustrating thing, is as a unit we did not see them box out very well.
No, they did not. And again, they smart on Rob in the front office to go out and grab guys who have a penchant for that. They got some size. I realized what Joe had said, mentioning Jackson Hayes' lack of b-ball IQ. I will say this: the guy brings a lot of pith and vinegar every time he steps out on the court. He's very energetic. And Gerald, unlike Wendy and Gabriel, he doesn't look lost 90% of the time on defense. He's a fairly capable defender. So I expect this team, especially the bench.
Plus, he gives you a lob threat that Gabriel couldn't.
No, you're right. Unfortunately, like Gerald was saying, unless the ball is like almost directly in the cylinder, or he's got a putback opportunity with no resistance whatsoever, that's basically all Wendy and Gabriel could do. Gerald summarized it eloquently and politely. Wenyan is a fine NBA player. He is not very skilled.
No, just a lot of hustle, and unfortunately, as we're seeing it right now in the NBA, his qualities and talent is not desired right now at the NBA. Although he could be brought back for the Lakers, who knows, for that final spot. Joe, before we head on out, we'll go ahead and talk about the Lakers once again. We'll close it out with this. But when the Lakers are looking to go ahead and fill out that last spot or spots, technically they can fill out the spots, but it looks like it's just going to be one slot left for the Lakers. What do you think they're looking for? Because again, Christian Wood's still out there, PJ Washington. We mentioned Gabriel and Mo Bamba. You know, the pickings are slim, but there still is a component out there that the Lakers truly need.
I think we've gone over this a few times. I don't really know who they're going after, honestly.
Dwight Howard, you know, I don't want to say
Dwight
the other
Howard's
individual's
done.
name because you
No.
asked me not to go ahead and say that individual's name unless he does get signed.
Yeah, no, there's
yeah.
no, there's
Initials are TT.
We're likely waiting for the agents to I'm going to say there's going to be an agent of one of the centers that's available that says, "Hey, you guys want whoever for the vet minimum will come to LA." I think that's the call they're waiting for.
I hope they get it. I hope it's for us, you know, not Bismack Biyombo, because again, you know, those free throws.
The thing is with Christian Wood, the thing with Christian Wood is Jason Kidd is still close with a lot of people in LA. I don't know if Jason Kidd's gotten a call and the Lakers are like, "Hey, what's up?" And he didn't just say, "These guys, don't stay away from him. He'll screw up your locker room." We don't know if that's happened. It would make sense since no one's picking him up. That might be it.
Well, we'll see what happens. Yeah, those dogs are howling. Those dogs are barking right there.
Fireworks are already going off, right?
It's the middle of the afternoon. How are they doing that? Why? You ruined the factor of the fireworks.
Is that your dog?
Fun.
You have dogs?
I don't have dogs.
Do you have dogs?
I thought that was here. That was your dog.
I have dogs.
Oh, you have dogs? I didn't know that.
All right, but it is the Lakers fast break. We want to wish you a
Stone snuck in somewhere.
No. We want to wish you a truly happy 4th of July. But Sean, before we head on out, again, your thoughts on what the Lakers might hopefully do with those last slot or slots, because again, I don't think it's complete. I still feel that there's something missing with the Lakers and what they can get. You know, again, it would be great if we could still shore up the shooting guard position a little bit more, unless you're really banking a lot on Max Christie. And then, of course, the center position is still yet to be determined.
Yeah. No Tristan Thompson, no Dwight Howard. You know, I love Mad Dog, but no to Mark Madsen coming out of retirement.
Yes. I've heard everything.
We need a
Cousins.
No, we need a
Kareem.
No. Yeah, I'll start doing the Rick Pitino. They're not walking through that door.
Yes.
But surprisingly, Gerald, there are still a lot of decent big men who are still free agents. Dwayne Dedman hasn't been signed. Willie Hernan Gomez hasn't been signed. Omar Yurt-Seven is still out there. So there are options for the Lakers if they really want to secure that backup big spot. Like you said, PJ Washington is still out there. Yeah.
PJ Washington and Wood, I think, are the only ones out of that mix can give you some type of consistent minutes in a playoff format, in a really good playoff format, or even in late, you know, season crunch time. Some of these other guys are just going to be filler, you know, their body for practice, their body that can go ahead and maybe spell if if Jackson Hayes doesn't pan out. It's Wood and maybe Washington, I think, are the ones. Paul Reed is another one. Good hustle kid, good rebounder, excellent rebounder, a little undersized at 6'9". I mean, but the ones that stick out to me is Christian Wood and PJ Washington. PJ Washington, yeah, he can't rebound well, but he's a decent sized body, but he can also shoot from the three. Your thoughts on what the Lakers have left as far as alternatives? Sean, do you really think that those two are the only ones? Is there someone else that maybe can give the Lakers minutes?
No, I don't think so, Gerald. I think you smudged it down to those two. Basically, those they're the last two characters left that could possibly help us out. So, um,
Kelly Oubre is also out there. That's a completely different option. But why would you want to get yourself another wing?
Yeah, exactly. I also don't understand. Like I understand the talent, but I also don't understand trying to help the Dallas Mavericks and Mark Cuban. They've got a myriad of issues. I know for certain, Gerald, that they're about half the teams in the league waiting for that team to implode, so they could start calling and sniffing around the trade deadline to pilfer them.
Absolutely. But it is the Lakers fast break. We truly appreciate you being here on a 4th
I
of
just
July
think they're
version.
stuck with it. I just think they're stuck with him until the trade deadline. I
Yeah.
mean, he played himself out of the lineup. Gerald, they did make some really good moves, but you have Lively. You brought back Dwight Powell. And it doesn't seem like there's going to be any minutes for Christian Wood, especially when you consider the fact that he played better when Luka was off the floor. So
Yeah.
and that's the original reason why you got him, was to figure out if he can play with Luka. Well, the fact of the matter is Luka doesn't like playing with Christian Wood.
Well, I'll tell you what, though, I appreciate your input. Christian Wood is probably the best option right now for a lot of teams, including the Los Angeles Lakers. Joe Soro here as well. Any last thoughts, Joe, before we head on out for a happy 4th of July?
Well, I think Bol might be an option now that he's been released by Orlando. He played 70 games last year.
Can't
Uh,
shoot well. His 3-point shot has gone awry after it was looking so good coming out as a rookie.
mhm.
Yeah, it's good. But
Maybe he might have better shots again with the Lakers and LeBron distributing, as well as D'Angelo and Gabe Vincent. But I'd say it's still an improvement on what we've had.
yeah,
So that I would keep my eye on that one. We'll know here, I think, within the next week, which the Lakers are looking for a center. They're going to get a center. It's clear that they are. Who right now is still the question, and I believe it'll get done between now and this week.
once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. We truly appreciate you joining us on this 4th of July version of the Lakers Fast Break. You asked for us to stop on by today, and we are glad to oblige. Truly appreciate it. If you have not yet subscribed, please subscribe. We're on our way to 1,000. So go ahead and subscribe today to get the latest notifications of when we go live on the air with the latest Lakers Fast Break. Or if you like us on Facebook, that's greatly appreciated as well. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, also our Courtside Lakers Instagram, along with our Lakers Fast Break Instagram. We've got not only one, but two great Instagram locations, plus also as well Kick, Twitch, Twitter, like I said. So go ahead and follow us and like us wherever we're at right here at the Lakers Fast Break. But guys, it's been a great time. MagicMan, looks like you're going to be just chilling. Like a villain today, all good there as well. Joe Soro, he's got the cookout going near the pool. Everything's all good. I do want to mention again that it is a happy 4th of July for us. Let us hope it is a happy and safe 4th of July for you. Lifted has now been made. Lifted has made a MagicMan an honorary U.S. American. Congratulations for that. There you go. Fireworks screensavers. They're going to be all over the place. I've got a fireworks for our thumbnail. How about that? We'll go ahead with that indeed. But it is Oscar Vargas saying Bobo with a dose of Phil Handy could be magic. Again, we'll see. Bobo is now the hot name out there. He's already trending on Twitter worldwide. Actually, almost 100,000 tweets already within the past hour on Bobo. So go ahead,
Pretty
Sean.
clever. I
Go
saw
ahead.
what you did there. I saw what you did there, Oscar. Very clever. Very
There you
clever.
go.
That double entendre.
Absolutely. Very, very clever indeed. But it is the Lakers Fast Break. We want to wish you a happy and safe 4th of July from all of us. And thank you so much for watching this. And we'll be back tomorrow. The Lakers game. There is a Lakers game that's going to be at 5 p.m. I believe it's San Antonio. So we're going to go ahead and check them out on playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break. And afterwards, there will be a post game. I will probably be late, so Joe may have to start it, or Magic Man. So we'll go ahead and have the post game here for you. They'll run the ship. Will we go ahead and have a win in our second game? Will JHS find a rhythm after some jitters? We saw some of these rookies have jitters already as far as in their first game. First game is fine. Let's go ahead and see maybe some improvement from first game to next. We'll see. We'll see if Max Christie can be a little bit smoother, not only on the offense, but he was okay. But the defensive end, let's see if they can shore up a little bit of that already. Hopefully, some good things coming tomorrow for the Lakers in their second preseason game. Will that happen? We'll find out. But here's hoping you have a happy and safe 4th of July from all of us right here at the Lakers Fast Break Podcast.